Hey, welcome back to Get Down to Business, the show all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. By the way, you can always get on my website, syklein.com, syklein.com, or give me your favorite podcast app where you can subscribe, rate, review, and share, and find the past 12 years of shows. But friends, in today's hyper-competitive market, achieving predictable revenue growth and operational excellence is paramount for every business. Our guest today is going to introduce us to what she calls the definitive guide to RevOps, a strategic function that is transforming how companies achieve their goals. I'm thrilled to welcome Dr. Amy Osmond Cook, the co-founder of Fullcast. Amy is absolutely amazing and is, again, a co-author of this book, The RevOps Advantage, How to Maximize Your Revenue Team's Potential. And she and her co-authors argue that RevOps isn't just a support function, it's a growth engine that aligns sales, marketing, finance, and customer success into one streamlined, data-driven team. We're going to talk about some of those statistics, some of those outcomes. Amy, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me. Also, thank you so much for your service.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate the support. Thank you. I really want to get into understanding this concept, RevOps, revenue operations. I should have started with that. Many folks are probably new to this concept. So let's start with the very beginning. What in the world is it? And why do you emphasize that it's a growth engine rather than just a support function?
Well, I have to say I'm so grateful that there are so many questions, because that is why the publisher reached out to us in the beginning and said they did Frank Slootman's Amp It Up, Snowflakes Busting Silos, and they sent me an email and said, can you please write it for us? And we were so thrilled to be able to say yes and very grateful. I think if you think about what's going on in the industry right now, it's harder to sell than ever. There are so many silos. Bureaucracy just isn't working anymore. And so if you think about what works really well, have you seen the movie F1? I just saw it this weekend. Oh my gosh, it was so good. And RevOps is just like a company's pit crew. Your business is the race car, and revenue operations is the one that are going to make it faster, stronger, and really technologically driven. Keeps it running.
Amazing. And your book states that companies with dedicated RevOps functions are 30% more likely to achieve their revenue goals. What are the core reasons for this significant advantage?
These advantages have to do with running a model that works in today's businesses. You know, some of the old stodgy businesses that worked so well in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, they're old, they're monolithic, they're not working well together. And that is because there are so many silos and processes between the departments, you can't get anything done. So this takes an entirely new model, puts it on its head. In our book, we describe what that model is, and we call it the Fullcast Factor Framework for efficient growth in today's marketplace. It's characterized by things like alignment of teams, integration of teams, moving fast, failing first, and making sure that speed is a really high priority.
Amy, as the Chief Marketing Officer of Fullcast and with your experience in high growth companies, how's the role of marketing evolved within the RevOps framework?
Marketing has really evolved a lot. Some people align it more closely with the CMO and the CIO than ever before because there's so much technology involved. Some people align marketing more and more with the Chief Growth Officer, the Chief Revenue Officer. But really what happens is marketing fills the entire customer journey and is supportive in every single aspect of that journey, whether it's from acquiring new customers or it's encouraging existing customers to upsell, it's keeping your customers happy, it's building evangelism. Marketing has taken more and more of a role, and we see that in the way that businesses are acquiring new customers. More and more people are 60 to 70% of the journey all the way through before you ever talk to a salesperson. This is based on hard data from Salesforce, Forrester, Gartner, and other research organizations. Also, marketing is central to the entire customer journey. And so you'll oftentimes get, 70, 80% of your new business coming inbound rather than outbound.
Interesting. And you include results from your proprietary 2025 State of RevOps survey in the book. What were some of the most surprising or significant findings from this survey about the current state of revenue operations?
One thing that surprised me was that while companies are trying to get rid of 20% of their tech stack, they have budget for new AI tools. And even though AI is brand new on the market in terms of sales performance management tools, the average company surveyed had 3 AI technologies already in its tech stack. I thought that was pretty fascinating.
That really, really is. Again, I'm chatting with Dr. Amy Osmond Cook. She is the co-founder of Fullcast, and together with her colleagues, they've literally written the book on what we've been talking about, revenue operations. The book is called The RevOps Advantage: How to Maximize Your Revenue Team's Potential. And again, what I've been hearing from Amy over the past few minutes is that RevOps isn't just a support function, it's a growth engine that, again, is aligning sales, marketing, finance, and customer success into one streamlined, data-driven team. Amy, I'm going to ask you to cover this when we come back after a quick break, but how can people find the book?
Oh, thank you so much for asking. It is available wherever books are sold. Also, if you go to fullcast.com, there is a landing page there. We'd be happy to send you a copy of the book.
What should modern go-to market leaders be doing today, Amy, to build a future-ready RevOps function?
Well, there's so many things that can be done, and I love that quote from Louis because he is one of my biggest heroes when it comes to revenue operation. He builds revenue operations at AWS from a team of 3 to a team of 150. He did the same thing with PayPal. He did the same thing with Buildertrend. And so he was actually very helpful to me on one of my in-depth interviews when we were putting the book together. He went through and he identified, and these frameworks are in the book, what an organization should look like what a RevOps organization should look like with an SMB or in a mid-market business or in an enterprise, and breaks it down into really what RevOps does. So as we get ready for growth, as we put the structure together for massive growth at scale, you can think of revenue operations as encompassing marketing ops, sales ops, data ops, and sales enablement all together. And with the revenue operations as the umbrella. And that is really something by thinking in terms of integrating and syncing, that is one way that you can future-proof your organization. Another way that you can think about it is obviously just staying on top of trends and keeping very closely abreast of AI and the changes that are coming down.
Yeah. And one of the things that I always love to do, especially at the end of the conversation, which makes me sad that we are coming to the end of the conversation on a really important topic, but of course we're going to make sure our listeners can find the book, is I want to leave folks with a homework assignment. So for a CEO, for a founder who is listening to Get Down to Business this week and is considering implementing or optimizing RevOps in their company or their organization, what is the single most important piece of advice that you would offer them?
You know what I would do as a founder myself, take a moment to reflect about your business. What are the areas that are not working well? Write a list down, and that is what you need to get your revenue operations person to do. If you can assign a person to hammer out all the things in your business that aren't working well, I would bet that 90% of them have to do with RevOps. And so that is one way that I think you could really utilize this book well. If you are interested in purchasing a copy of the book, they'll be available wherever books are sold, or feel free to reach out on fullcast.com and we'd be happy to send you a book, an advanced copy.
That's amazing. It's awesome. And a sneak peek, I just want to add one more piece as we conclude over here. I know that the book introduces the Fullcast Factor framework. We don't have enough time to go into all of that, but it's not just a book where often we read stories and hear interesting insight from different companies, but really you're going to walk away with some really practical advice that you can put into action in your organizations, big or small. Dr. Amy Osmond Cook, thank you so much for sharing your insights and background with our listeners. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, believe it or not, friends, that's the end of our time together this week on Get Down to Business. I've certainly learned a lot from our four guests, but we have been on the air for over 12 years, and we have a remarkable archive of some amazing entrepreneurs, organizational leaders, and you don't want to miss a single episode. So you can always get on my website, syklein.com, or go on your favorite podcast app. But the one favor I'm asking of you is go and subscribe, rate, review, and share. And that will make sure that folks will not miss any of this valuable information. But to success, let's get down to business. Can't wait to continue the conversation next week.